Hello everyone, welcome to the graph theory class. So this is in continuation with the previous class where we have discussed about various small introductions on graph theory. So here we will be seeing more details about uh, the basic representation of informations with certain examples and diagrams. So in the last class we have seen that these are the representation we have used. These are also the representation we used. You can have a plot of a graph like this. You can have a coordinates in the graph wherein I can plot it using certain function, isn't it? All this graph we are used to this, but the graph we are going to talk about is something different than the ordinary graph which we have been using. So let us go one by one. So the graphs are actually the representation part. How do I represent the flow of any activities, the switching of the state, isn't it? You can also represent the family tree in the form of graph and many others, isn't it? Network in computer science is the best way to represent using a graph. So all that aspects we will see one by one, because as we go forward in the classes we will see more and more of application oriented graph theory. Okay, so let us begin with a very well known example and a problem of a graph theory. Because of this problem, the person called Euler, Euler, Euler generated, or he started thinking about a representation of any kind of information in computer or in a mathematical representation, not exactly in computers. Later on, the computer science scientists and engineers, they developed a method to represent those graphs which used to be a mathematics into a software. So let us take this problem, Cunningham bridge problem, isn't it? So here the rules, you can see this. You can see this in the diagram that you have a landmass A, you have a landmass B, you have a landmass C and D. So there are four landmasses, and all these landmasses are somehow it is covered by rivers, and they have built this bridges over the river, so that one can cross from one landmass to another landmass. And it was built in such a way that a person from landmass A has to visit B and D and C and then go back to his home to A, something like this. So that was the purpose when they started with this problem. But later on they felt that number of bridge was limited, and there was a traffic issue and going and coming one way, and all that issues were coming up. And then they thought that okay, manually this cannot be done, then they started to develop certain kind of algorithm, certain kind of flow structure. And there the mathematician came into highlight, wherein Euler is, as I told you, Euler Bandemansele, he started to think about this problem, and he wanted to give a solution. And later on, it has become a graph, isn't it? So how it has become a graph, we will see that also one by one. But then before that, let us go to our animation. Small animations I have here. Now the animation says, see, look at the animation here. It says that there are 7 bridges and 2 islands. That means from this island you are supposed to go to this island. There are 7 certain bridges. Now in the previous slide you might have seen, in the previous slide, oh my goodness, okay, in the previous slide you might have seen that the rules, what was the rule? The rules was, you can rewind the video and see. The rule was you can travel through the bridge to the land masses only once, isn't it? Only once. You cannot repeat that, isn't it? So that the one-way traffic हो यो चाहिँ अब, you cannot go back from the same bridge. So one-way traffic भन्नु न अब हैन, हाम्रो भाषामा भन्नु हो भने. So here now let us try this. To move ahead. Now this person has started from here. See, started from here. He went through this bridge, and he went through this bridge to other landmass. Okay. Then he wanted to go back. Now he has to go back. Now he cannot go back from this part. He cannot go back. So he has to go back from this. Yes, he is able to go back. But then he has to travel all the bridges. So what he has done here is, this fellow is not able to travel to this bridge. So that the solution is, as per our rules, you did not get the solution. As per our rules, you did not get the solution. That means you did not traverse through this particular bridge. So that is the reason why I got splat. So I did not. I'm not getting the correct output. Now similarly, I also have one more thing here, wherein I have a 7 bridge and 2 island, but then the bridge has been changed. See, look at, the bridge has been changed. So from here it has come, from here, then again it went this. यहाँबाट फेरि फर्केर यो माथि गयो यो मान्छे. Okay, then यहाँबाट फेरि आयो, and he came back. Yes, but I did it. But how do I go back? म त यहाँबाट आएको हो नि त. I started from here, isn't it? I cannot go back now. As per the rule, I cannot traverse it back. So त्यो पनि successful भएन है. That also is not successful output. So next I have here is, see, same bridge हो, 7 वटा bridge, 2 island, but then representation is different. See, यहाँबाट यहाँ आयो, यहाँबाट यहाँ आयो. अब यहाँबाट म फर्केर जान्छु. I am going back. यो फेरि फर्केर आए, घरमा आए, मेरो काम थियो यहाँ. I came back and I went to from here. यहाँबाट यहाँ ट्राभर्स गरे, यो खाली थियो. I went back. So this is a truly a magic game, isn't it? Now here he's so happy that yes, I did it. I went from this island, isn't it? Traverse through all the island. यो बीचको 2 island मा पनि पुगेर आए र मेरो फर्केर घरमा पनि आए. That means if I have a 7 bridge and 2 islands, and if this is the representation, यो करा भयो त, 7 bridge and 2 island, then I am successfully able to identify all the routes, all the paths from one place to another place, and then I am able to get the particular output, isn't it? So यो यही चीज हो, later on युलरले गएर representation गरेको. Now here you've seen this, हैन, योबाटै हामी त्यो एनिमेसनमा गएको. Now let us go to the other slide. Now I want you to do this. I want you to try this. All right, try this. You can try this. You can pause a video and try this from this landmass to this landmass, from this landmass. यहाँदेखि you can go to this. यहाँदेखि यहाँ जाऊ, हैन, यहाँदेखि यहाँ जाऊ, यहाँदेखि फेरि यहाँ जाऊ, यहाँदेखि फेरि फर्केर घर जाऊ, go back. So it's the same diagram, हैन. यो तिमीहरुको यहाँनिर, please write down the solutions here. Try and do it. Pause the video and do it, and try and find out, did it every time? I mean every time I went, am I successful, or I am successful only once, or I am not able to do it, something like that. So how many bridges are there? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 वटा ब्रिज छ ल्यान्डमास कति छ एउटा दुईटा तीनटा चारटा हैन देयर आर 4 islands now you can okay that was 7 bridge now I added 8 bridge अब यो एड गर्दाखेरि तिमीहरुलाई के भयो what is the advantage you got what is the advantage you got please try and find out तिमीहरु traverse गर write down in the copy and traverse it and try and find out what was the advantage if I have one more bridge here 8 bridge ma ke bhayo alright now I have one more here with the 9th bridge मैले के गरे अर्को ब्रिज पनि हाल्दै यहाँनिर यो नयाँ ब्रिज अघि 8th ब्रिज आयो 9th ब्रिज पनि आयो all these bridges are existing अब यो now you do it अब यति बेला के हुन्छ तिमी जहीँबाट पनि स्टार्ट गर फर्केर त्यही पुग्नु सक्छ something like this okay so you can try this get the solutions done get every solutions done keep it on a copy write it down and try and analyze things okay किनभने यो चाहिँ बेसिक अफ ग्राफ हो यो प्रब्लमले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ people have started thinking about anything can be represented using graphs anything can be represented using certain systematic way of writing if I write it systematically and if I do logically मैले हाता पेनमा गरे भने पनि त्यो चाहिँ रियल टाइम लगेर फिजिकल ब्रिज बनाउँदाखेरि चाहिँ सजिलो हुने रहेछ हामीलाई ट्राफिकको प्रब्लम हुने रहेन रहेछ और यता उता जानुको लागि ट्राभर्सिङमा प्रब्लम नहुने रहेछ भनेर चाहिँ you can make a logic out of it so with this let us go to some other thing okay so this is what I have done it okay so तिमीहरुले I hope you got the answers for all that 7 bridge 8 bridge and 9 bridge problems you have to stop it there and again redo it गरेको छैन भने चाहिँ okay I'm going to show you the picture if it is 7 bridge the picture would be like this because it is non traversable हुन्छ किनभने कुनै एउटा न एउटा ब्रिज चाहिँ तिमीहरुले छोड्नै पर्छ अनट्राभर्स एउटा ब्रिज उब्रिन्छै उब्रिन्छ एउटा ब्रिज उब्रिन्छै उब्रिन्छ if I have 7 bridge and if you have 8 bridge Euler भन्ने मान्छेले see Euler path बनायो Euler path भनेको if you have a 8 bridge यस्तो खाले एउटा डायग्राम I can represent it in this way how do we represent we'll see that later on and 9 वटा ब्रिज छ भने चाहिँ I can start from one place and come back to the other place Euro circuit भन्छ जसलाई okay we'll come to that later on यो अलिकति टेक्निकल छ so I hope you have done that in the previous slide हैन यो previous slide हो यो slide मा तिमीहरुले I hope you've done it here all right now next is what he thought Euler भन्ने मान्छेले चाहिँ what he thought is let us represent the entire map into something called a graph so यो graph बनायो यो मान्छेले so what was the graph representing graph is representing a landmass see a landmass हो मैले a लगाए landmass को लागि c landmass हो c land बनाए d को लागि again I made a d then you have b को b नै भयो and then look at this how it is made look at this c देखि a जाने कतिवटा छ c देखि a जाने c to a c to b दुईटा ब्रिज छ so I made दुईटा कनेक्सन here a to c c to a हैन सिमिलरली a देखि बाहिर कतिवटा गएको छ 1 2 3 4 5 वटा गएको छ 1 2 3 4 5 वटा गयो isn't it so कता कता गएको छ त्यो भन्दा a to c a to d a to b and again a to b दुईटा छ a to b दुईटा छ look at this isn't it and similarly you have a d पनि representation गरेको छ so don't you think this looks little smarter than this representation looks very very better than this representation don't you think so because your representation say I can put it in the software I cannot put this representation in the software हो त्यसको लागि के चाहिन्छ हामीलाई सिभिल इन्जिनियर चाहिन्छ यसको काउन्टर म्यापिङ गर्नु पर्यो डल्लै जियोग्राफिकल म्यापिङ जीआईएस बनाउनु पर्यो यसलाई डीलाई जीआईएसमा कन्भर्ट गर्नु पर्यो ट्यागिङ गर्नु पर्यो देन यु क्यान डु इट गुगल म्यापले त्यसै गर्छ बट देन बिफोर गुगल म्याप डज दिस रिप्रेजेन्टेसन त चाहियो नि त सो दिस रिप्रेजेन्टेसन इज नथिङ बट अ ग्राफ वे ब्याक 90s गरेको यो 19s 2000 होइन 19s गरेको चिज युलर्सले सो here you have seen this graph बनायो होइन so I have here for you a small this thing assignment for you alright please pause here यही राख your video and start doing it represent it जसरी मैले अगाडि represent गरेको थियो you can go back the video and check जसरी represent गरेको छ त्यसरी नै C A B D represented है this C लाई represent गर C लेख यहाँनिर then you represent B then you represent A यहाँ लेख A then you go to D then try and connect this अब कता कताबाट कनेक्ट भएको छ है do this pause please pause and do it now I hope you got this diagram right now I'll erase this I think you got this diagram you must get this diagram यो हुनै पर्यो तिमीहरुकोमा now what extra I have added in this diagram is I have named it भन्नुको मतलब जोरथाङबाट नाम्ची जानुको लागि दुईटा रुट छ one is via CCCT via Dong है the other one is via CCCT via Salgari अर्को रुट something like this so C भनेको चाहिँ मेरो दोङको रुट भयो right C भनेको दोङको रुट भयो and D को सालगारीको रुट भयो something like this so I have just named the path A to D कसरी जान्छ भन्दा E ले जान्छ D to B कसरी जान्छ भन्दा F ले जान्छ so I hope you got this diagram graph representation alright now let us define a graph what is a graph till now you've seen you've seen graphs I made representation of a landmass and rivers into a graphical representation एउटा नक्सा बनाए मैले isn't it what does that naksha how do I define that naksha so graph is nothing but in our language a graph is nothing but it's a collection of vertices these dots are vertices remember these dots are vertices we call it as vertices of the graph as well as arc or line or a edge that joins this point all right look at this see look at this now I am joining these dots with certain lines or the arcs that is what I did it isn't it now here there are a lot of explanations is required I will do that one by one I'll answer next slide but then if you have understood this a graph is a collection of a vertices and the edge a graph is a collection of a vertices and the edge if you have understood this now let us go and take certain examples now where the graph is used अहिलेसम्म कहाँनिर चलाउन सक्छु म भन्दाखेरि you can go back to genealogy भनेको तिमीहरुको जीन कोबाट आको I asked somebody to make a family tree in the first class isn't it now you start making your family tree see Abraham Lincoln बाट यो दुई जना जन्मियो again यो दुई जना भयो and यो दुई जना भयो so now what do I represent from this what do I infer from this I infer that this is a vertices then how many vertices are there 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 vertices are there right 7 vertices 7 vertices are there how many edges are there edges भनेको these are the edges that connects the vertices yo 1 2 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 edges are there. Similarly, I have one more example. Now you see constellations, isn't it? Many of you might be interested in looking at the star. Right? Telescope kinnu 40,000 जस्तो मा पाइहाल्छ दामी telescope and look at it. Star छेउमै देख्छ नजिकै and draw the diagram. Graph paper ठक्कै ल्याउनु, then you start drawing the कहाँनिर को छ ठक्कै यहाँनिर. I don't know. I'm not good in constellations, stars and astrology and astronomy. I'm not good. So to be very frank. So कोही interested हुन्छ, what they do is they just look at the star and they draw the diagram. मैले यसरी नै डायग्राम ड्रा गरेँ भने चाहिँ के हुन्छ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ our constellation, this constellation looks like this. अब यो डल्लै गरे भने के हुन्छ? These stars are edges. I mean, not edges. What are they? They are vertices, and this connection are edges. Now, how many edges do I have? I have this many edge. How many vertices do I have? I have this many vertices. Please do and calculate and write down. That's your part. Next. Now look at this. Now this is little tricky and this is little interesting also. So मैले नाम पनि त्यस्तै खाले दिएको छु है. So you can read the text. The 9 members of the family, 9 people sat to celebrate a birthday party. Alright. Now त्यो birthday party को थियो? Male was there, Bunne was there, Whitney, Blackie, Power, Rhino, Bahadur was there, Duffer was there, and Sita was there. Okay. So यति 9 जना मान्छे बसेर they wanted to celebrate a birthday. It's a textual data हो. अब यसलाई I can represent it. How do I represent? We'll see that. अब यसमा के भनेको छ? Look at the second line. Second line says that a jolly molly group of Bahadur, Rhino, Power and Blackie. यिनीहरु के थियो अरे अलिक मजा गर्ने इन्जोय गर्ने खालको केटाहरु थियो अरे हो. केटीहरु थियो अरे. Then what they did is they started to sit together to play cards. Oh my god, let's sit together and play cards. Oh, कसले खाना बनाइ बस्छौ? Let's not do that. Look, केटा तास खेल्नु पर्छ. They sat to play cards. And what does it says is this 1, 2, 3, 4 people sat together and they were attached to each other most of the time. Always उनीहरु चाहिँ 4 जना चाहिँ तास खेल्दा पनि सँगै हुन्थ्यो, नाच्दाखेरि पनि सँगै हुन्थ्यो है. Then स्विमिङ गर्नु गयो अरे एकछिन 4 जना. त्यो पनि 4 जना सँगै गयो अरे. Now apart from that you can see here Whitey जो चाहिँ ओभर साथी थियो अरे ब्ल्याकी को हो. So Whitey also joined with the Blackie every time. So every time Whitey also was there with the Blackie. So yeah, यो statement बाट चाहिँ you must infer something. Similarly, I have one more statement here. The cooking group. अब त्यहाँ कुकिङ ग्रुप पनि हुनै पर्यो हैन. अब मेबी लेडिजहरु थियो होला हैन. राम्रो कुकहरु, हाम्रो शेफहरु, हाम्रो केटाहरु पनि दामी कुकहरु हुन्छ. त्यो थियो होला. Then they 3 जना यो केटाहरु र केटीहरु मिलेर चाहिँ बुने है. बुने is a famous हाम्रो नाम हो. बुने थियो अरे and the Duffer थियो अरे. अब Duffer नाम भएको मान्छे and Male was all they sat together to cut vegetables. भन्नु मतलब यसले पनि एउटा information infer गर्छ. And there was one lady, there was one girl who was alone, who was aloof. Everyone अरूसँग नमिलेर what she was doing is Sita भन्ने lady was seen always busy with her mobile talking or chatting. See, अब तिमीहरुमा पनि कति जना यस्तो होला हैन. So you have to analyze this. अब यो भन्नुको मतलब चाहिँ के हो भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ now let us see the next slide. Next slide I have represented what is the political about it, what is the science about it. यसमा के छ त? How do I infer this? यो अहिलेको टेक्स्टमा म how do I infer भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ I have made all those person 9 वटा मान्छे जो थियो 9 persons the black dots. These dots are vertices. Now यसमा when you go to second statement, if you go back to the video and read the second statement again, you will see that Blackie, Rhino, Power, Bahadur र Whitney भन्नेमा Blackie, Rhino, Power, Bahadur चाहिँ 4 जना चाहिँ मिल्थ्यो अरे ओभर हो. 4 जना पत्ती खेल्ने बसिहाले अरे. So that is what I can represent. I can do this. Why not? I can relate Blackie with Power. I can relate Power with Bahadur, Bahadur with Rhino, and Power with Rhino. Yes, I can do that. It's a representation, you know. Then again, the second statement says that ब्ल्याकी जहाँ हुन्थ्यो अरे वाइटी पनि त्यहीँ हुन्थ्यो अरे है ब्ल्याकीले चाहिँ वाइटीलाई छोड्दैन थियो अरे और वाइटीले ब्ल्याकीलाई छोड्दैन थियो अरे सो नाउ आई हेभ अ ब्ल्याकी एन्ड वाइटीको स्टेटमेन्ट द्याट सेज द्याट ओके दिस टु आर अल्सो भेरी भेरी गुड फ्रेन्ड एन्ड दे वर अलवेज टुगेदर भनेर मैले एउटा ग्राफ बनाएँ यहाँनिर है अब यो टिम इज अ डिफरेन्ट टिम यो पाँचजनाको डिफरेन्ट टिम नाउ लुक एट द सेकेन्ड स्टेटमेन्ट अर्को स्टेटमेन्ट तिमीहरू पढ यु गो ब्याक टु द भिडियो एन्ड रिड देयर इट सेज डफर बुने एन्ड माले वर टुगेदर कटिङ भेजिटेबल्स है खाना बनाउनु थाल्यो ओ बनायो अब तीनजना मिलेर एन्ड द अदर थिङ यु हेभ नोटिस्ड यु माइट हेभ नोटिस्ड इज सीता was alone. Sita was not doing anything. See? Sita was left alone. Sita is alone here. Now you can say this. How you can infer this. You can infer the information out of it. It says that maybe भात खाने team and तास खेल्ने time will be together when they eat भात है और केक काट्नेको टाइममा त सर सँगै थियो होला भन्दै all that you can infer it. You can draw this later on you can draw this सर यो जुन चाहिँ भात डफरले पकाएको थियो त्यो ब्ल्याकीले खायो जुन चाहिँ अचार बुनेले पकाएको थियो त्यो बहादुरले खायो अरे एन्ड बहादुर र पावर वाज सो क्लोज सो बहादुरको जुठो पावरले पनि खायो अरे समथिङ लाइक द्याट यु क्यान इन्फर सो मेनी थिङ्स बट देन त्यो स्टेटमेन्ट हाम्रोमा अहिले छैन द्याट्स वाइ वी आर नट डुइङ एनिथिङ राइट नाउ आई होप यु अन्डरस्टुड दिस सीता वाज लेफ्ट अलोन alone छ यो केही पनि गरेको छैन दे आर नट कनेक्टेड सी इज नट एट अल कनेक्टेड बिकज सी वाज सिटिङ आइडल नाउ फ्रम हियर वाट आई क्यान से इज आई क्यान represent the geographical area in terms of graph. I can represent my family tree in terms of a graph. I can represent what we had. We had a textual information in terms of a graph. So I can do anything in the graph. Because graph needs certain points and those points needs to be connected with certain information. Information हो नि त यो ब्ल्याकी to Y2 is also an information. This blackie to rhino is also an information. This black line shows lot of information. Right? Now let us go back. We'll see the special cases. So in the back at the first graph introduction you have seen यो slide मा बत्ती छैन हौ to come back your slide ma you have seen dot arcs and lines. So here you have seen a lot of graphs that has been made. So graphs ko many varieties cha. So let us see the varieties. One of the variety is a loop. Loop means the edge that starts from one vertex and go back to the same vertex is a loop, right? And Sita is a isolated point. C here is a isolated point. So many things will come here. So let us understand this in detail in the next 2-3 classes. We'll do that in detail. But just understand this basic terminologies. Ma duita cheez chai understand that loops and isolated point. So I can't see here. All right. Now next thing you must understand here is like when you were doing that diagram of Königsberg Bridge, you were trying to connect those land masses using bridges. You have traversed that, isn't it? So that traversal has one landmass has different connections to different other land masses. So that is known as your degree of vertex. Degree of a particular vertex. Now a degree of a vertex is the number of times the vertex is touched by the edge. So what is the degree of A? Degree of A is एउटा यो vertex ले touch गर्यो, अर्को यो vertex touch गर्यो, अर्को यो vertex ले touch गर्यो, अर्को यो vertex ले touch गर्यो. So all this 4 vertex that is touching A is nothing but a degree. So A has a degree 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it odd or even? Odd or even? You just mentioned it. I hope you have understood this. So here we have to understand the fact that we must be able to count vertices, we must be able to count edges, and we must be able to count the degree of a particular vertex. Alright, then yes, this graph has 6 edge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 edge, 4 vertices. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exactly 2 of which are odd. 2 of which are odd. Exactly 2 of which are odd. Now this graph has 4 edges, 6 vertices, all of which are odd. Which is correct? You must tell me. This has 6 edge and 4 vertices, all of which are odd. Exactly 2 of which are odd. Kunche correcto? You must tell me. You must tell me. We will discuss this in the class. When we have an online one-to-one class, we will discuss this. Do this. Do this also. This graph has 8 edge and 5 vertices. Here, what is the correct answer? Alright, perform this. You must be ready in the next class. Okay, now you draw the graph. Draw the graph wherein you have 4 vertices, all odd, and 5 edges. 4 vertices, all odd, and 3 edges with no loops. No loops, eh? Now odds, evens ke ma huncha? Degree ma huncha. We will discuss this. You have to be ready with this assignments in the next class. Again, draw the graph with 3 vertices, exactly 1 even, and 4 edges. Now, is it true or false? All vertices of a graph could be odd. True or false? True or false? Okay, yeah, this completes our first video. This is a video class because I could not take your class today. I have uploaded this. Please download it and look at the video many times, several times before coming to the next class. Okay, all right. So I take leave. All the best. Thank you so much.